The following show is dedicated to Mia Park and Barbara Yang. The views expressed on the following show may not be those of the hosts, guests, or WSPN Skidmore Radio. Talk Saratoga is produced by Saratoga Broadcasting Incorporated and may not be reproduced in part or in whole unless expressed written approval is given. Now, here are the hosts of Talk Saratoga, Rick Thompson and a Saratoga All-Star.
Good morning and welcome to Talk Saratoga. I'm your host, Rick Thompson. You're listening to WSPN 91.1 FM on Skidmore Radio. If during the show you have a question to ask our guests, give us a call at 518-580-5783. And he is a Saratoga All-Star. Matter of fact, I think he's a national All-Star. And I'm so glad that a friend of ours got us together. Mike Camoin Dec. You know, I got it right down here. Yeah. Camoin. And I screw up names. You can't believe it. And for those who follow on Facebook, who's going to be the guest, Kim Weir was supposed to be our guest today. And Mike doesn't look anything like Kim. But Kim's coming on next Saturday, so you'll be happy about that. But I'm glad Mike's here today. Good morning, Mike.
Rick, thank you.
Oh, no problem. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. This sunrise this morning, it was bright orange and red, and it was just amazing.
Well, you know what that means, don't you? It's a red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning.
Oh, here we go.
So here we go.
People
again.
in trouble, man.
you just cursed us here, Mike. Yeah, they just met you already. But that's okay.
Oh, no. It's a storm.
I just want to... your website is videosforchange.com?
Yes.
All right. And you're a filmmaker, and a darn good one, too.
Thank you.
And I have to know, though, give us a little bit about your background.
So, I didn't get into filmmaking until later in life. I went to St. Bonaventure University, graduated with an English degree, a minor in business, ventured off into social work here at UAlbany.
Oh, really?
And
now, did you plan on being a teacher or anything? Because it seems like UAlbany puts a lot of teachers out.
I had a choice between going to Hunter College in New York City or UAlbany upstate. And I chose UAlbany because it was closer to the Adirondacks, where I wanted to get to on weekends. They had UAlbany's got a great research school.
Yeah.
And they had a track for actual practice. So I went in and I studied family systems. I trained at St. Anne's, the sex abuse prevention program. My second year, and there was a camcorder in a closet. Nobody was using it. And I said, can I dust this off and record what do you guys use this for? And sometimes they record interviews with perpetrators. I said, well, can I dust this off and record my next client? And they're like, well, if he gives you permission, you can. Turned it on, recorded him, and I played the tape back. And I realized his body language was saying more to me than the words.
Okay.
And I became enamored with motion image at that moment.
And that's how you did it.
That's how I got into it. And that year, 1992, I started Videos for Change Productions. I moonlighted. I practiced social work. Saratoga WSPN.
Oh, really?
It was great program. Played softball for the WSPN team. You'd appreciate that.
Up here?
We were all over.
Oh, okay.
We games all over. Cambridge.
Well, I played softball for a county league in Johnstown back in my late 20s, early 30s, up until I was 50.
Okay.
So it's fun. I mean, I had nothing to do with social work or county, but my brother worked for the county in the social work department. And it was fun. And my wife was a special ed teacher for BOCES down in Fulton, Montgomery.
Okay.
BOCES. But yeah, that's great.
Yep. So I'm moonlighting, and I realized I really don't know enough about this, at that time, independent filmmaking in the 1990s. So I took a course down in Columbia County. Met another filmmaker, Tom Mercer, and by 1995 we started a network called Upstate Independence, which became Upstate Independence Filmmakers Network. We put an ad in the Metroland. 14 people showed up. Another 14. Fast forward, early 2000s, we had over 300 members. They came from 5 different states.
Really?
And we started the independent film movement here in the Capital Region.
Now, whereabouts were you based out of?
Well, we were at Mother Earth's Cafe down in Albany.
All right.
Then we ultimately went to Borders Books on Wolf Road.
Okay.
And it was it was for free, but it was sold out, standing room only. People came from all over to, because you never knew just how many artists in the area really wanted to learn this technique of filmmaking, whether
Plus
in front of the camera or behind it.
Right. Plus, you're building a reputation and word of mouth. It doesn't matter whether it's free. That's the, you're getting the people in and they're spreading the word.
Yep. Totally. By 1996, John Pearson comes out with a book called Spike, Mike, Slackers, and Dykes. We invite him up, and he discovers my first documentary. I had already started moonlighting from 92 to 1998 when the movie came out, Inside the Blue Line. Filmed it up in Speculator, New York, population 300 in the wintertime.
Yeah.
On this aging Adirondack woodsman who's trying to go backwards in time to preserve the old ways. And it was this documentary, the love of this story and finding ways to complete it, that this whole community just got around it, and they started to, and so my model is a social work model. I said I come from St. Bonaventure, and one of the things you learn in St. Bonaventure is you learn community. So you just the circle just got wider and wider. And by 2003, there was only one film commission in the area, the Saratoga Film Commission. And we said, there's a lot more independent filmmakers here. You need to expand, or we'd like for you to expand. And that created the Capital Saratoga Film Commission, and we also said there was a problem in the United States, and that was called runaway productions. Movies were going outside of New York. They were going to different countries.
Yeah. A lot of movies are filmed in Canada now. It's I don't know what it is about Canada, but...
Well, I can tell you what it is. And it was the issue at that time, and that was the tax incentive.
Oh.
Canada created the first tax incentive.
Oh, really?
And that was to compete with also Europe. So movies were going to Canada, they were going to Europe, and we planted the seed as a group of independents and said, we need to counter this, what's called runaway productions. Billions of dollars. We're leaving the West Coast and going up to Vancouver.
Yeah.
So the people in the meeting at that time, 3 representatives from Joe Bruno's office were in the meeting, and they took action, and they created the first New York State film tax rebate program in 2004.
That's awesome.
And that was because of a group of independents had formed and said, hey, and if you understand filmmaking, you understand that it all starts with independence that then get co-opted into the studio model, just like the music business.
Sure. Just side note, did you like Speculator?
Oh, I love Speculator.
Now you know what that's famous for?
Well, a couple of things I know of. There's boxing.
Yeah. There was a training camp for Jack Dempsey.
Yes.
Yeah, he loved it up there too.
Yeah.
And you love the Adirondacks, so that must be right up your alley up there.
I was just up there yesterday. We've got a camp up on Lake Pleasant, and I wanted to keep it in the family. So right now it's available for snowmobilers and skiers and all that stuff. So
that's neat.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
Oh man, that place is where the birth of my movie career came from. I would say because of that subject of the first documentary.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, that your love of the Adirondacks. I don't know if, when you were up there, if you got inspiration from being up there because you like the outdoors, you love the Adirondacks, and, is that...
It's totally, because I was just up there yesterday. It's fresh in my mind, but it's like a portal. You go to a place that just opens up, and it allows you to think about things and look at things way differently than down here in the big city. And we need to be able to go to places that open us up and think about things, because out of that you create different solutions to problems. And I gotta say, like, where did I learn to do that? That goes back to St. Bonaventure, which is in western New York, in the foothills of the Enchanted Mountains. And, one of the selling points of the Adirondacks, at least in Speculator, is peace and quiet.
Yeah.
It's not Lake George. It's not Old Forge. It's an opportunity to go for solitude, which a lot of artists need to just clear their head.
Sure. Well, in Cambridge, they have the new skeet monks and that, and my wife and I took a ride. They have the nuns that make the great cheesecake, if you like cheesecake.
Yeah.
But then you go up the road and in, and the monks raise German shepherds for all countries, police and armies. But you get back up in there, and you don't hear a peep. You hear the birds. That's about it.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's something different about dead silence that either makes you think or drives you crazy. That's right. And I think if you're a creative person like yourself, it's awesome. That's what you want. Somebody like me who has to hear voices and a little bit of noise, it's not the same. But for being creative, I think that's what the atmosphere that you want.
Yeah, and you want to be visually connected to the outdoors year-round.
I have two friends that went to St. Bonaventure, by the way.
Oh.
Jeff and Tim Wilkin.
Sure, I know them.
Do you know them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. Jeff's Schenectady Gazette.
Yeah.
Yeah, reporters.
Tim was with the Times. Well, they both started out at the Saratoga and Times Union.
There you go.
And now Tim writes. He used to do the horse races for the Times Union.
That's right.
Handicapper. Now he's an independent. He writes for the independent outlets. And I work up there in the summer, so we got to be good friends. So, but I know they always mention St. Bonaventure. They love the school. So
that's it. Yeah.
Hey, I have to ask you. Growing up, did you have any family members in any part of the business?
My dad worked for IBM. My mom, worked for St. Mary's. Around our dinner table, we would hear stories about Uncle Al, my great Uncle Al, who was the head cameraman for Saturday Night Live.
That's really?
First 12 years.
Of Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, he was right in the prime. I mean, those were the best years, I think, of Saturday Night Live.
For sure.
When Belushi and Aykroyd and those guys were on.
Yeah. I asked Jane Curtin, had the opportunity to speak with her. I said, did you know Al Camoin? She goes, oh, that's a name from the past. Your uncle was just such a sweet, nice guy.
Really?
And the actors back then, Belushi,
right,
Bill Murray.
And Bill Murray.
Yeah. I mean, I think they looked to him kind of as a father figure because he was older. And just a wonderful guy. I didn't get to know him because he was always working on the weekends. So any family functions, he wasn't going to be there. So, we go down to Astoria, where my parents are from. My grandparents immigrated to. And Uncle Al if he wasn't working on Saturday Night Live, the next morning he was working on Sunday NFL games. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I would hear about that story and those stories, and then also my dad would talk about Charles Camoin. Now Skidmore is might appreciate this, although the students are sleeping at the moment.
Oh yeah. Probably till 3.
But this is a big art school, and
it is.
Charles Camoin from Marseille, where our family's from, painted with Matisse. He was part of the Fauve painters.
Oh, really?
In the early 1900s, which started the Salon movement in Paris. So here, back to 1995, our filmmakers network was called the Salon by the Independent magazine based in New York City.
You have anything to do with Skidmore anymore? I mean,
I haven't been here since I came to a training and did some filming up here on campus.
I mean, you could probably be an advisor, like in the theater they have workshops.
Yeah.
You could probably come in, do a workshop or two with your background and knowledge. I mean, that would be pretty awesome.
Be happy to come and talk to a class.
Yeah, you ought to get a hold of, I'll see if I can know the department to get a hold of, because I know a bunch of people up here.
Okay.
And I think that would be awesome. It's because you can use your knowledge and connections to tell these kids what you went through, how you started, what to do. Because when they graduate, I mean, a lot of them have connections already from the school, but the independent part of it is what attracts a lot of people.
Well, Rick, I would say this. Today, there wasn't much here back in the 90s. There wasn't a 3-credit course I could take on filmmaking. We had to create this on our own. And I looked around. So what I did is I'd go to New York City, Film and Video Arts on Broadway, to take a weekend class. I'd stay with my grandmother in Astoria and hop into the city and take a training on distribution, on marketing, and those kinds of things. And like I said, I met my friend Tom, and we put together this Upstate Independence Network. It was all grassroots. And then out of that, everything.
But that's the best way. I mean, you're not following a template that way. You're creating your own.
Totally. There was no roadmap.
Right. That's pretty awesome. So you have it in the family a little bit, and I mean, that's great. I mean, to get where you are today and create what you did. Let's get back to the Blue Line. What was it like being inside the Blue Line? Why don't you explain what the Blue Line was?
Well, the Blue Line is the Adirondack Park boundary that separated the New York State Park, and it's a mixture to over 6 million acres. It's the world's largest forest preserve, but it's a mixture of public and private land. And it's an ongoing tension between the needs of the public and the desires of the private landowners, and told that story through a single woodsman and his desire to keep his way of life going, which was to live closely to the land. He lived as often as he could in a bark shanty and had hunting camps, and
really,
and as a result of a land swap between the state and a private landowner, about 300 camps disappeared. Oh, they burned.
No kidding.
They burned down, and I didn't learn this element of his life story until about 2 years into the project. And he had married into the Weaver family, Joan Weaver. Ledley is from Staten Island. And it took me years to get Joan to come on camera to talk about the family camp that had disappeared. And so the bark shanty that's now on his property, he built it in honor of all the past, 100 years of hunting, fishing, trapping, living closely to the land. And it's funny because when I came out with this, people wanted to know who commissioned you to do this. What side are you on?
Right.
And I was like, no, nobody commissioned me. I'm just following the story.
Yeah, you're doing right, both sides to see what went on.
Yeah, exactly. And so out of that, came this movie. It was fascinating. This is the VHS days.
Okay.
And because I studied in New York, I knew that I could figure out, you treat a movie, a VHS, like a book. And I just went to store to store to store, and I probably had 50 stores where I sold copies.
Wow.
So I sold thousands of copies.
That's awesome.
And that laid the foundation for the next program, which is how to make an Adirondack pack basket. Not everybody's into making pack baskets. But that followed suit. And then Tom and I produced the Battles of Saratoga DVD in 2003.
Really?
Yeah. And that hit schools across New York State. One thing we learned on that program was to have a study guide so that the 4th and 7th grade school teachers in New York State could implement this
into the curriculum.
Because other than that, the Battle of Saratoga had a paragraph.
Oh yeah.
In their textbooks. Nobody knows. Ken Burns just came out with a tremendous marathon American Rev War.
Well, there's
program.
A local fella here I talked to, I don't know if it was last summer, and I couldn't get him on the show because I had back surgery, but they were making a movie on 1776. And I don't know he was an attorney. I don't know whatever came of that, but I think, that's my thing, is history, and especially Revolutionary War and before. And you're right, nobody really knows the story about that. And it's such a fascinating time in history, in our history, especially around here. The Battle of Saratoga, people think, well, where in Saratoga was it fought? It wasn't fought in Saratoga, it was, not Schuylerville, but Stillwater.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's sad today because the kids going to school that they don't really learn anything about the local area and what went on, So that's great that you...
So Tom and other early members of Upstate Independence, founding members, I would say, went on to produce Benedict Arnold, Hero Betrayed.
Oh, really?
A 2-hour epic documentary on which I'm a co-producer. And that's available.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was an awesome fella. I mean, first, he was a great naval technician.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he was up on Lake George and that. I mean, he stopped so many British ships from coming down.
Yeah, Whitehall, I think, is where the birth of the Navy.
So, I mean, he... and people don't know about him. They just think he was a traitor, and they don't know why. And
that's exactly right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what that documentary actually reveals. Arnold's role. Tom Mercer might be a great guest. Anthony Bertucci or Chris Stearns, the filmmakers.
Well, you can bring them up, and the two of you could do a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, are you still involved with people in the group like Tom and that, or?
Well, we're lifelong friends. Right. I would say now, but the group, COVID knocked the group out.
Yeah.
So it had a 25-year run. The leadership was handed off to different presidents, organizers, leaders, and COVID kind of knocked it out. Now that's been replaced by a younger generation now. I think they're part of the 518 Filmmakers Network down in Albany. So it's still very much alive.
Right.
But us old guys.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of history in you. That's why I say if you could get into Skidmore for a workshop, I mean, what you've been through is kind of influential to hand down.
Yeah.
And it would be great. I mean, and the people, like I know one of the girls that I know up here is in theater, and they get these, you know, off Broadway or whatever, to come in and do a workshop on a Saturday. And I mean, it's just awesome. I think you really would be great.
Cool.
It would be great to be up here.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Saratoga, like I grew up going to the racetrack.
Okay.
At Saratoga. Because I had another uncle. I had 3 uncles. They were all into the races. Uncle Sal, Uncle Joe, Uncle Tony.
Yeah. And they loved it.
Yeah. So I was one of those kids who came up and hunted down Angel Cordero, got his autograph. I mean, all those guys.
There were a bunch of them, yeah. Lafitte Pincay.
Yep.
And
you know, I did a pilot called Survival in the Sport of Kings. And it featured Richie Migliori.
Richie's a great guy.
And the Parkers. They were a small thoroughbred horse farm out of Millbrook, New York. And
now, is that video?
Yeah, it's on my website. People could see like a teaser on there called The Sport of Kings, Survival in the Sport of Kings. It came out at the time when people weren't interested in another reality show on thoroughbred horse racing. So I mean, that's part of the challenge of being an independent artist is like just you got to know how to get up and keep going, because sometimes the market doesn't want what you're making.
But that would be neat for the museum, the racing museum. You know, to have something like that in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. All right, so what's your tie to the movie The Horse Whisperer and Saratoga?
So when I heard Redford was filming in Saratoga in 1997, and I read an article in the Times-Union, I found a way to get a letter to Mr. Redford on set, and I received a reply through the producer saying Mr. Redford recommends that you seek out the resources of Sundance Institute, which was just taking off in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he took the time while filming Horse Whisperer, which had all kinds of challenges because there wasn't much snow that year.
Oh, yeah.
And that he would respond to an independent filmmaker.
Well, I think that was his passion, was independent filmmakers.
Totally was. And, you know, in losing him this year, all that came flooding back. Because his response, the fact that he responded to me was so empowering. And that's what he did. He empowered all us independents across the United States. He paid attention, said, this is, you know, art is really important to our communities. I would learn later just how regional filmmaking was part of Sundance mission.
Oh, really?
Not these hits. If things become hits, great. But the fact that Redford knew there were so many untold stories coming from different places in the United States that the studio wasn't going to make. They didn't want to make another Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That was too risky.
Yeah.
That was a groundbreaking film for him and Paul Newman.
That was a great film. Yeah.
And if you listen, he read the writing on the wall, and he knew that the studios weren't going to do it. Make the movies that were coming from the artists. And so that's how Sundance really took off. He bought a ski resort, and you know, at the base of it started the Sundance Institute.
Yeah, I know he was very pro-independent filmmaking. And, you know, in a way, that's amazing because of the type of actor he was. I mean, very famous, very well-known.
Right.
You know.
Very good-looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, all that helps.
Oh, yeah.
But here's a story that's come back to me. He was part of an event called the Nature Conservancy that was held in Manhattan, in Central Park, and they invited Jack Ledley from Speculator, New York, down to the Nature Conservancy, and Ledley meets Redford in New York.
Really?
From Speculator.
Yeah.
Redford was consistent. I mean, he was into Native Americans. He was into the outdoors. I mean, he got inspired by great locations.
Yeah.
And one of them was Park City.
Now, did he do the movie Jeremiah Johnson? I think that was him.
Is that right?
Which was about an Indian
Oh, okay.
thing. Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of that, like you said, that type of work. He was really involved with special things, like independence and, you know, subjects like Indians and making movies on that.
Yeah.
But
You're right.
yeah, that is awesome that he took the time, like you said, when he was busy, to reach out to you.
Yeah, through his producer.
Well, you know what?
I'll take it, man.
Yeah, hey, any opening you can get.
Well, that was it, man. And you know, to empower filmmakers and say what you're doing is of value. Keep going.
How, now, as you were doing your productions early on and you were gaining experience, how do you get into locations for your productions?
I got a call from Deb Gedeke, who's the Albany Film Commissioner, and she said, Can you meet with this guy, Michael Winterbottom? He's coming in, he's looking for locations. I can't be there. Can you take him around? And so I said, sure. Drove him around, scouted locations. And then from there, it went to serving as that role, as that scout for other films. And sort of the breakthrough in 2013, the movie Place Beyond the Pines is filming in Schenectady, and they send the crew out looking for the closing scene. And one person after another, can't find it. So I get a call again from Debbie, and she said, hey, they'd like for you to go out. And what they need is, Rick, is in the closing scene, is they need a flat road that's heading towards the mountains, only there could be no trees. So I know the Adirondacks, and there's a lot of trees.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
So where are you going to find this? So I go out, and the director, Derek Cianfrance, says, I want to see everything that's out there. Oh, by the way, there needs to be a barn and a white aspen tree, because this is supposed to be Colorado.
Okay.
The closing scene, flat. If you understand Colorado,
Right.
the elevation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so you've got this really cool. On day 5, I'm outside Saranac Lake talking to a guy at the Sunoco gas station who's originally graduated from Siena College. He says, oh, you want so-and-so's potato farm up on a certain road. And I go up there. It's flat. It's a potato farm, so there's no trees, and there's a road going right into the backside of the high peaks. Everybody had looked at locations on the southern side of the high peaks, but nobody went around to the back.
Okay, well.
And this road goes right into the mountains, and there's a little barn, and there's a white birch tree.
No kidding.
Closing scene in the movie. So then, that's 2013, and I get invited to the party up at Toronto and meet Derek and Bradley Cooper, Eva Mendes, and Ryan Gosling.
No kidding.
I mean, everybody gets invited to the party.
To the party.
Yeah.
I think scouts play such an important role in films that people don't even know about. Now, one of my favorite movies is The Last of the Mohegans with Daniel Day-Lewis, and it's supposed to have taken place in the Adirondacks, but I think they used the Smoky Mountains for some
in Carolina.
reason. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't use the Adirondacks, but whoever was scouting that.
Well, they didn't shoot. Yeah, they didn't shoot the Miracle in Lake Placid. They shot it in Canada. I mean, movies always shoot, in a different
wherever the scenery is the best, and
wherever they can get locations and/or tax incentives.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It influences. It's a great influence.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's one of my favorite movies. You ever get a movie screened at Cannes Film Festival?
I worked on Muhammad Ali's Greatest Fight as a location scout.
Okay.
And going back, this is I think 2013. Mm-hmm. We needed a location that mirrored Washington D.C. And so we found the education building on Central Ave in Albany.
Really?
And we were able to shut down 10 or 12 blocks to film that scene.
No kidding.
I also filmed other courthouses, and they wound up shooting more than 1 or 2 days. They shot quite a few days in Albany. And so I happened to be going to Cannes, and then I was invited to the premiere of Muhammad Ali's Greatest Fight at the Cannes Film Market.
Wow.
That was great.
Yeah. That's what I say. Scouts play such an important role that...
Yeah, and I think there's been discussion about, like, they give awards to many categories, but they've overlooked locations. But as someone said, if there is no location, there's no place to park the truck. I mean,
exactly.
It's foundational. And I had a director say this, Jeremiah Zager, who directed We the Animals, which went on to win the Sundance Illuminato Award in 2018. We were able to shut down Dyke Road Friday afternoon during rush hour.
You're kidding.
Which was a 2 mile stretch.
And this was Toronto?
No, this is, I'm sorry, this is, I jumped to, this is outside of Utica.
Oh, okay.
Still in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And he goes to me, he goes, Mike, your thumbprint is on this movie. Your locations are part of this story. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The locations do play a big role, and we've got a wide variety of locations from cityscape to rural.
Oh yeah, I mean
in a 30-mile radius.
You're right, and some of the best rural areas. I mean, because even Saratoga County, one of the biggest industry is farms, whether it's horse farms or farming. So you got. And a lot of farms are beautiful. I mean, it's not just mud and fencing. A lot of them are beautiful, and take them in. So, you were at Cannes. How about Sundance? Did you?
Well, my first trip to. Actually, I brought Inside the Blue Line out to Sundance. It was not accepted. I didn't hold that against him.
Hey,
but I still went. The first time my name was in the credits at Sundance is the movie As You Are.
Okay.
And that's filmed in Albany, directed by Miles Parafit.
And what? Just a little background on it. What's that about?
It's a coming-of-age story of three teens, and Miles is this amazing young director. It's his first feature. And I'll always remember this, Rick. 2015, August 10th, they came to me and said, we need 26 locations. I said, when are you starting? September 12th.
Oh, my.
I said, give me your top 5. You've got to find the anchor locations. By September 12th, we had identified, almost secured, all of the locations. We filmed from September 12th to October 9th. There was an editor who was editing as we're going. And by November 15th, Sundance showed an interest. And by December 3rd, it was accepted into Sundance. And by January 28th, it won the Special Grand Jury Prize in 2016. It's unheard of. For a movie to be put together in 6 months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It was, and this speaks to the cohesiveness of the producers and the director and the storytelling. The hardest location, and it was the location of the movie, was to find a rock quarry where the 2 young teens jump off into the water, which was the most expensive day. We needed medics, we needed scuba divers, we needed clearances, porta-johns, you name it. Everything went into that scene.
Every day.
And a drone. That was when drones were just arriving.
Out.
And it pulled it off.
You know, the only experience I ever had with a movie filming was Owen Wilson was making a movie here a couple years ago. And it was about some famous painter. And he used to take paint and throw it against the wall. I guess.
Yeah. The guy from Long Island.
And they were going to use our front porch. They used our street.
Okay.
And they were going to use our front porch. They ended up using the next door neighbors. But they go in and they use this lady's living room because they thought it was the right size and everything. And they repainted her living room some color that this painter used to like to paint in. And I mean, they moved their furniture around, they brought furniture in, and oh my gosh, the stuff that they do.
It's incredible.
To make it look great. I mean, it was awesome, and he would show up.
We call that owning the location. We're gonna rent it from you, and we're gonna own it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna change it, and we'll give it back to you in as good or better shape than it was.
Yeah.
And we'll repaint the walls back to the color that you wanted them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they used our next door neighbor as his place to go and relax. And so they had an extra bedroom. Both their boys are out. So he'd go up there with his dog. And the only problem was that we were in a rainy period. And some of the shots that they had to do didn't call for rain.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened on Place Beyond the Pines. They had torrential rains. They almost lost their film as a result of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, weather plays a big part in movies. It was a big factor in the making of Benedict Arnold. It can be horrific.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why movies went towards the studio, because you could control everything inside a studio.
The Heart of Bona's basketball. You worked with Christopher Stewart on that? Is that the one you worked with?
Well, we're in post-production, yes.
Oh, you
right
are?
now.
You're in post-production. Okay,
yeah,
so that's what you're doing now.
Yeah, bringing us up to the present. Brown and White, The Heart of Bona's basketball is a series on the smallest NCAA Division I college basketball team, St. Bonaventure, my alma mater.
Yeah.
And how they rose as an integrated team to become number 2 in the nation by 1961.
Wow.
go 22-0 in 1968 with a integrated team during the height of 159 race riots, Vietnam, major national turbulence.
Sure, civil rights and all that stuff. That was a crazy period, the late 60s.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, that's what I've learned. What in my research, I discovered a telegram from Lyndon Johnson congratulating the team on their. They go 22-0. They beat Boston College 23-0. They get invited to the NCAA for the second time in the school's history, and they get invited to play in North Carolina.
Oh, no.
And they wound up losing, but they get a telegram from Lyndon Johnson, March 22nd, 1968, congratulating them not only on their performance, and Bill Butler, the African-American captain of the team. The sophomore at that time was Bob Lanier. The telegram goes on to acknowledge their performance off the court as good citizens. Now, this is 4 years into the Great Society that Lyndon Johnson had coined in 1964. And it was a week later that he announces that he's not going to run for re-election. You know, this was before major television.
Oh, yeah.
And for Lyndon Johnson to take the time out, the White House to take the time out to congratulate this team, to me, just underscores the accomplishments of what this little school and this team had done. It reached the White House.
Yep.
So we're in post-production. My editor is Christopher Seward of Fahrenheit 9/11, Sicko, has done a masterful job. And part one, episode 1 is 90% completed. It's really amazing. If there are any listeners out there that understand basketball, our third African-American player, Freddie Crawford, follows Sam and Tom Stith out of Harlem. He goes back home and graduates in 64 to the race riots. Unfortunately, they had taken the mantle of Rucker, Holcomb Rucker, and created Rucker Park, and in 1965 created the Rucker Park Pro Tourney. And they go back to their old coach, Eddie Donovan, who took them to number 2 in the nation in 61.
Well,
Donovan's now the head coach of the New York Knicks.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. That's right.
And they ask for a variance so they can play outside ball on a playground. The first Knicks pro players are Sam and Tom Stith and Freddie. They bring their teammate Whitey Martin from Buffalo. He's the first white guy to play at Rucker Park.
Well,
so, and if you understand what happens with Rucker Park, it just explodes. And today it was just commemorated as a national landmark. It's the mecca of basketball around the globe.
well,
And the Mayor Lindsay, wanted to know, how come there's no race riots up in Harlem? Co-founder of Rucker Park, Bob McCullough, says, well, they're all up here at 155th Street watching the pro players, and admission is free.
yeah. There's
So talk
something
about
for him to
basketball
do.
and community,
Yep.
and it explodes the way it does. So, you know, when you get into a documentary and you uncover things like the telegram or you know, the history behind this playground.
Sometimes it's a simple thing like that to make a bigger historical connection, you know. And I don't know, I'm sure Ken Burns did something, but I don't know of anybody that tied the 60s really well. I mean, ever in 63 when Kennedy was shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the world up to that point was all rosy and Leave It to Beaver and, you know, Fathers Knows Best. From that point on, the country exploded. It wasn't the same. I mean, you know, you had the hippie movements. You had, like you said, Vietnam. You had the riots, civil rights. Timothy Leary, LSD. Yep. And then, you know, when Bobby Kennedy then Martin Luther King were shot and killed. I mean, that was a terrible decade, and I think one of the worst in our history. And I don't know if anybody's ever done any kind of deep expose on that of even in segments.
Right. I think there's been some stuff done on that, and Amy Goodwin Kearns has a book that's out now that I think is being transformed into a movie. But for me, what interests me is this little team, this little school was able to counter all that, put the blinders on, and do what it knows how to do, which is leadership, teamwork, and building community. Yeah.
And that's a tough part of New York, too. You think that's where things would have started up, you know. Listen, there's so much to go over. I'd like to have you back again.
Hey, Rick, can I share one thing?
Yeah.
The Pope Leo, convened the motion pictures on November 14th to the Vatican. And
yeah, that's what I wanted to close with. Go on that, because that's very, very interesting.
Oh, okay.
So you go on to do what you want. You got the last 6 minutes. So.
Oh, okay, here we go. So, okay, I thought you were winding down the show, and I just wanted to
No, I just wanted to say, there's so much more material before we get to this part that we could go over, so.
Well, every movie is about how it ends, right? You have to have a really big ending. And so, because that's what people remember. The Pope convenes them, Pope Leo XIV convenes the motion picture industry to the Vatican November 14th, and I was like, holy cow, I've never heard of a Pope doing that before. And this which is what brings us, because I wanted to let the Pope know, tell the world, like, we're doing this story, Brown and White, the heart of Bona's basketball. And that brings us to Joey. And he's like, Mike, here's what you need to do. And I brought some letters in. I reached out to some cardinals to make them aware. And what they have done since is send the materials for Brown and White to make sure that we get to the Holy See.
Wow.
The Vatican.
In this short a time. I mean, that's not a lot of,
Oh, it was. We wrote them on the 21st, and they responded on the November 26th.
Wow.
So I think the Pope is really dialed in on this cinema of hope. Movies have a way to tell stories, and they don't have to be overly religious. They need to be real and show people how you can overcome adversity in your life and with faith. And I thought, well, who better to show that than this small school? David and Goliath.
Yeah.
That does it the right way. And colleges. Here we are on a college campus.
Right.
And they're all challenged to survive and compete for students and put people out into the world.
Oh, sure. Well, that's how they keep going and attract some really great students for their programs. You know, I hope he can pick it up. I mean, that would be awesome if he looked at that and had you out there for an audience. And well, you know, he's American too, so that helps because he's familiar with the area.
Sure, and he's a sports guy, like,
yeah.
you know. Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting that he invited Spike Lee to the Vatican, who brought him a jersey, a Knicks jersey, number 14. He said, well, you know, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. He goes, yeah, but there are 3 Villanova players on the Knicks right now, which is where the Pope graduated from. So
you ought to get an audience with him. Get one of these Cardinals to get an audience with him. I mean, that's how you get one of those, you know.
Well, it's very interesting you mentioned that because Cardinal Christophe Pierre wrote us back right away. And he's the apostolic nuncio in the United States. And he wrote back, he said, thank you for taking the time to write and to bring the documentary series in question to my attention, and with assurances that the information will be made known to the appropriate body of the Holy See. And I take this opportunity to wish you a blessed and fruitful season of Advent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, that's got to be one of your highlights of your craft, is for that to happen, to make a movie that could be picked up or appreciated by somebody like that, you know.
The acknowledgement alone, yes, is tremendous. So, Rick, thanks for having me on here, and this is great. It's great to be back at here in Saratoga on Skidmore campus and on your show. And
well, I'm interested in getting you up here. I mean, you have a wealth of experience and information, and I think starting out like you did without a template, you were more of an independent, and
still am.
I honestly that can give some hope, and you know, for students to really get into it, because they know what can happen by doing that.
They need to listen to themselves,
right,
and figure what's their purpose.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Plus, you can also make some money on the side by giving guided tours at the Adirondacks and the Adirondacks here, you know. Take them up and show them how to scout out scenes, and, you know.
Well, that's what it is. Movies are all about tourism, too, and people go to visit where things have been filmed.
Right.
I was just watching the movie Castaway. I know we got to end, but I was looking at
We'll wait for home.
You know, people are visiting that location, that remote island, where that movie was. Oh, for sure, man.
My gosh. That's crazy.
Well, yeah. That's what it's all about.
You're busy in post-production right now, so that's great.
We're looking to raise the finishing funds on this series.
Okay.
So if anyone's interested in a faith-infused sports documentary that's going to inspire the next generation.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, they can get a hold of you at Mike at videosforchange.com. And or if you want to give them a call, 518-441-5300. And the website is videosforchange.com, and you can get a lot of information on the website.
And if anybody's a basketball Franciscan junkie, they can go to brownwhitestory.com.
Okay.
For the new documentary.
All right. Well, we got a fella that does a show after Homer that's a sports, does a sports talk show and other things. So, you know.
Amazing.
He'll pick some of this up, I'm sure. Mike, thanks for being with us, okay?
Rick, thanks.
And I really appreciate you coming up.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
Happy holidays
Appreciate
to everybody.
it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.